Okay. That said, Jerry, whenever you're ready to,
Okay. Can you hear me now?
yes, sir. Yep.
Okay, now we're good. Okay, so welcome everybody. I want to take a moment just to thank everybody for joining in tonight on our program launch for 2022. There's a lot of information that's going to be covered tonight, so that's part of the advantage of it being recorded. Like I'm sure Cole already said, I was having a little problems getting logged in there to begin with, so sorry I'm late, but I believe without any further ado, we can get things started.
I am muted there. Thank you, Jerry. Up first, we will have Mr. Milham, James Milham, our scout executive. The slide says confirm if he is saying anything. He is in fact saying something. So here he goes.
Hey, good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us either live or if you're going to be reviewing this later. Thanks for joining. The great thing about program launch and thinking about beginning our scouting year, which is really what we're talking about, is we're looking ahead and we're thinking about what we can do, obviously, to make scouting better in our communities. Obviously, there's a lot that we're going to go through tonight in terms of preparing our units. But I just want to simply say thank you. Thank you for what you do to be a leader in scouting. I know as a past leader for my son's troop, as well as my daughter's Girl Scout units, I know how hard you work to make scouting a success in your community. And obviously being on tonight or listening later shows us that you really want to be a part of this. I want to say that I believe that we're going to be turning the page, so to speak, in the Boy Scouts of America, and hopefully we'll be out of that bankruptcy issue real soon. And I think we can set our sights on moving forward. And I think that's really critical. My one thing to everyone is youth protection is critical. We need to make sure that's front and center in everything that we do, because that's going to be a key cornerstone to let people know that scouting is safe. It's a great character education program. So just again, on behalf of the council, on our key three and our executive board, thank you for joining and wish you the best. I'll turn it back over.
Okay, thank you, Jim. We appreciate your guidance and leading us through, especially through the bankruptcy and all that. So we're lucky as a council to have somebody like Jim and the rest of the key three. So okay. Move into just a quick safety moment. So every scout event that we have should have a safety moment, or at the very least, safety should be at the forefront of what you do, because being safe is paramount, right? So consider having a safety moment at every meeting, scout event, whatever it might be, and it can be something very, very short, short and sweet. Safety brief. That's why they call them that. Tonight's moment is covering youth protection, or YPT. Jim did mention that. So currently we rank 138 out of 250 councils in percentage of people that have YPT training. Really, it should be 100%, right? We should be at 100%. And a lot of that is people that maybe didn't recharter and haven't quite dropped off the rolls yet. But that said, if anybody in your unit does not have their YPT finished or is very close to being expired, encourage them to do it. It's an important thing to do. And you know, the B.S.A, Boy Scouts of America, is one of the safest youth serving organizations. And as a result of that, or excuse me, YPT leads to, you know, because of that. So there we go. All right, we will move right along. So fall product sale, Miss Ann Bruger, she's going to talk about that for a little bit.
Hi, good evening. So as you can see from our picture, it will soon be time for the fall product sale. We are, again, this year selling popcorn from Pecatonica River. We are also selling peanuts from Whitley's Peanut Factory, like we did this spring and like we did last fall. Stay tuned for more information about the product sale, the timing, and those types of things. We will have a kickoff this summer, hopefully in person, maybe a combination in person and Zoom. And the big news that's coming up right now for the product sale is that on June the 4th, we're having our top seller celebration movie event for scouts that sold more than $1,000 worth of popcorn in 2020 or in 2021. And I will take questions if you have any. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Miss Ann. She's also going to talk about the tent in for us.
So the tent-in was originally scheduled for this May, and we have postponed it till November. So the big news is stay tuned for more details as that comes around. And as it says on here, the date will be announced when it's confirmed.
And just the 30-second version, what is the tent-in and why should people participate?
So the tent-in is a way to support the Scouts of the Hawk Mountain Council. It's in conjunction with Friends of Scouting. And basically what it is people either the person who is the tenter, they ask supporters to either get them back on the trail, or they ask supporters to make them stay in their tents. And we had a lot of fun with it the last 2 years, and we've raised a lot of money for the Scouts of our council, and we plan to do it again this fall.
Okay, thank you, Miss Ann. All right. Just real quick, give you an update on an announcement you might have seen about PayPal and Venmo updates. So the quick version of it is they lowered the reporting threshold from $20,000, or is it 100 transactions, something like that, or 1,000 transactions? Anyway, they lowered it very low to $600 or more. This will affect, selling like popcorn and whatnot if you take payments that way. And you would just have to make sure that your information, tax information is filled in there. So if you have any questions about that, you can visit that link there. We will send out all these links afterwards. So does anyone have any questions about that now and would like us to look at that link right now, or just send it out later on and keep moving? And I can't see anybody, so somebody will have to say something. Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on. So Miss Ann and I will talk briefly about the Citizenship and Society Merit Badge. So Ann, would you like to take this one as well?
Actually, Lisa Wilder is going to start on this one. We have a plan, Cole. So
Oh, perfect.
I think that
I'll let you
you
have it.
will not need to weigh in, Cole. I think Lisa and I have this, but if we miss anything, give a shout.
Sounds good.
Lisa, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. I'm really happy to be able to talk a little bit about this. There's a task force on diversity, equity, and inclusion that's been working on the rollout of this new merit badge, as well as diversity, equity, and inclusion in council as a whole. And I do want to say thank you to Ann and Cole, as well as to a number of folks who've become trained to be merit badge counselors for Citizenship and Society. So as you may be aware, this is a merit badge which will now be required for Eagle by July 1st of this year. That requirement comes into play. So Scouts who finish their Eagle badge by June 30th, right, meaning that their paperwork is signed and turned into council, all completed by June 30, this will not be a requirement for Eagle. However, for those who are turning in after that point, this now is a required merit badge. So Elizabeth Ramirez Wishka, who is the Chief Diversity Officer for the B.S.A, has explained this as this merit badge helps Scouts learn about the diverse, unique identities and characteristics that we all possess, understand different perspectives and experiences, and learn how to encourage an inclusive and welcoming culture in Scouting. And I would even add beyond Scouting as well. So this is something that's been a part of our Scouts education throughout both what they've done outside of Scouting and school, but even in Scouting as well, because this is just really the Scout law put to action. Because when we think about what we're really trying to encourage Scouts to think about, we're preparing them for their future, where they are going to be interacting with lots and lots of people from different perspectives and being able to build that. So this is, again, one of those pieces that fits within the diversity piece, is really part of our citizenship piece. So this is just building on things that we already do. So again, just to be clear, that this is one that your Scouts, especially your Life Scouts, should really have on their radar, because unless they're really, you already know the ones who are going to be done probably by June 30. If they're not going to be done by June 30, they need to be developing a plan and working this in. Now, this is a badge that doesn't have like the, 90-day requirements and things like that. So it is not going to be one that they would have already have had to start it by now, but they will again have that requirement come in place by July 1. Now, Ann Cole, as well as I know JJ Miller and Darren Coleman have also offered a session of this, have already been offering this badge. So I'm going to ask Ann to talk a little bit here about how we're actually delivering this badge and a little bit more about her own experiences in putting that badge into action.
Thanks, Lisa. So we've talked about this a lot as a council and within our groups as we planned for how to do this merit badge. And what we've discussed and what I put into action and what we prefer for this merit badge is that counselors work with small groups. I would say 6 to 8 scouts is probably the right number. I would also suggest that they're older kids, 15 years of age and or a Life Scout is probably a good starting point. If you have a really mature 14-year-old, that would probably work. But there's a lot of conversation and a lot of thinking and a lot of discussion in this merit badge that would probably be a little much for a new 5th grader that's just coming in. It's fine to do the merit badge within a troop, or it's fine also to do it within a council group, which is scouts from various troops. I did it that way 2 times now, and it worked out very well. We have a parent letter for the parents of scouts who will be taking this merit badge, and it can be found on our website along with the requirements for the merit badge, and also a merit badge workbook option is that's on the website too. As Lisa said, scouts who take Citizenship and Society merit badge will be discussing diversity, equity, inclusion, being an upstander, all kinds of things like that. As those things relate back to our Scout Oath and our Scout Law, there are no correct answers. Sometimes there's better answers, but there's not really wrong answers. And as I said, Cole and I have already held 2 classes for Citizenship and Society, and they both went really well. And it was fascinating to hear the scouts really dig into some of these topics and talk about things. And one thing that stuck with me that was in the one group, especially, a lot of the things that we talked about came back to bravery and being an upstander and standing up for scouts that are friends that are being bullied and all those things. It's a bravery. It's a different kind of bravery than we typically think about, but it's bravery nonetheless. And we had some really wonderful conversations about that. It was a neat time. Lisa, do you want to talk about anything else with Citizenship and Society?
I would just to remind you that we do have a presence on the website for this, where we have shared some resources that can be useful. Also, as your scouts are looking for this merit badge, you're going to find the merit badge counselors in the same way you do other merit badge counselors, and that is you can look in Scout Book. You can contact also Cole, who's the staff advisor for our advancement committee, to find some information about that, as well as reach out to any one of us, so Cole, myself, or Ann, if you are interested in becoming a counselor for that, so that we can continue to work with folks. And we have, again, some training materials there that have been provided to us actually by the diversity, equity, and inclusion head for our territory, so that we do have that consistency across those courses and so forth. But we welcome your questions, as well as, again, encourage you to take a look at those other resources. I don't hear any questions. Does that mean we answered your questions? I hope. So I'm glad to be a part of this. I think it's going to be a great thing for our scouts. The conversations I've had around this with our scouts have been really encouraging. I mean, again, it asks for some deep stuff, but our scouts seem eager to talk about it too. So I've been very encouraged.
Are there some upcoming sessions from council for that badge?
So Cole and I are going to work on getting another one scheduled in May, maybe ending in June. Not sure about the timing on that. And my personal goal is to train more council level merit badge counselors once by the end of May too. So the answer to the first question is yes. And then when we train more merit badge counselors, I will actually encourage them to potentially train or to offer a class at the council level too.
Thank
So
you.
yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you, Lisa and Ann. And just as the advancement staff advisor, I did want to just reiterate one of the points that was made. So the merit badge is Eagle required after July 1st. So if an Eagle Scout candidate has completed all the requirements for the badge by June 30th, they do not need that merit badge. As long as they've completed everything else. That doesn't necessarily mean turn the paperwork in, just have everything completed. That said, we do encourage them to take the merit badge. So there you go. All right, moving right along. We're keeping good time here. Camping. So I had Michelle down. I don't see her. She might be having some technical difficulties. So Jim, did you want to say anything about some of these?
Why don't we move on? Let me give her a call and see if she can jump on.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good choice. All right, moving right along. Michelle will touch on this, but I'll touch on it as well. April 30th, there is a Cub Scout Roundup Carnival happening at summer camp, just to give you a taste of what the day camp and Cub Scout resident camp programs will look like. So no schedule or anything like that, just a round robin style. Come out and have a rootin' tootin' good time, as it says. So when Michelle gets on, she will talk about that a little bit more as well. And the adults will be getting something for that $5, snacks, coffee, things like that. So we'll save questions on that until, she gets on. She'll also mention the return of the Fall Cub Adventure Day. So we haven't had a traditional Cub Adventure Day since it would have been 2019. So those that went to the Golden Jubilee and participated in some of the Cub Scout activities there, it will be a lot like that. Previous years, we've had hay rides, done all sorts of cool stuff. So we will get that up on the calendar as soon as we know about it. And again, she'll chat more about that as well. Okay, we have Brian Beddoes up here to talk about the National Jamboree briefly in 2023.
Thank you, Cole. Just to let everybody know, I'm serving. I have the honor of serving as the council staff advisor for the event. And our volunteer chairman is Chuck Dennis, and his assistant is Walt Shaheen. So if there's anything that we, as the Jamboree Key 3, can answer for you, please let us know with that. But feel free to reach out to me, and I'll help in any way that I can. But the event, the next National Jamboree, begins on July the 19th and ends on the 28th of next summer, so 2023. So we're basically a year out with that. If you're looking for information, the easiest way to get there is to click on the banner at our website, so hmc-bsa.org. And if you're familiar with the website, on top of the banner, you'll see a couple different, I'll call them advertisements or activities, and the Jamboree is there. What we ask folks to do, excuse me, is to register with the Hawk Mountain Council. And then once we approve our youth and once we approve our adult volunteers and things, then the council will notify individual families that they should go on to the National Jamboree site and register through that site. The cost for the event is going to be $1,850. So that'll include transportation to and from the event, some cost affiliated with some meetings leading up to the event. There'll be a shakedown that the kids will go through, and some different parent meetings with that as well. And then there'll also be some swag, and we can let you know about that later, but there will be some Hawk Mountain Council Jamboree items, swag for the event. Patch sale, we want to let folks know that We do have a special Monopoly set patch that was created and is being recreated for the Jamboree that should have happened back in 2021. So if you're interested in that, you can see that information on the website as well. With that limited patch set, limited time. So really there's about 2 weeks left to place those orders. But make sure if you're interested in a super cool patch set, a highly collectible and tradable patch set, that you take a look at that here in the next week or two. So I believe that's it for the Jamboree, and Mike Hughes is up next to talk a little bit about social media.
Wrong button there. Cole, am I able to share?
Yep, I will stop the share and then you take over.
All right, cool. Let's see here. There we go. Okay, good evening, everybody. I can't see anything now. Okay. Can my screen be seen? Everyone see? I can't tell.
Yep, you're good.
Okay. So I'm here tonight to talk a little bit about social media and how effective it can be, especially after summer this year when we go into our recruiting season, and any time throughout the year, looking at recruiting new members into the organization. So looking at this post here as a great example, this is one of the best ones we've had in a while. This is from our Polar Plunge this past New Year's Day. So when you're creating posts on social media, specifically on Facebook, keeping your words and your description short, that there is nothing here on a desktop or on mobile or any other way that you're viewing the social media output, that someone has to select to read more. So short and sweet and to the point is very, very crucial. And there's a lot of different things you can do, as well as including some type of media, whether it be a photo or a video of some type. For the district level and the council level, we have events. We can have it set up right here where you can book straight to the event and go right to the sign up page for that event. The other big aspect that you can do on social media across all platforms is boosting or paid promotion, a paid advertisement. At the troop level, that's something you would have to discuss with your units if that's something you want to approach. But just to give you a little bit of an idea of how effective it can be. So for the Polar Plunge, I'm going to click here and see the insights. A little bit about the insights. We had 5,404 impressions. Okay, impressions are basically the number of times that somebody saw it, whether or not they just scrolled quickly past it or if they held on to it. And that's where the reach is. So for the reach, it's different from the impressions. It could be multiple views, but this is your true number here of how many people actually saw the post. So this post was seen and looked at thoroughly by 2,261 people. And on this post specifically, we paid $10 over the course of 14 days to advertise this. And this was our yield. 205 people clicked book now. Either they went to find more information because we were catching at this point, which is what you would want to do at the unit level, is to catch, to get someone to come look at your count or your unit's page. But they hit this and went specifically to the sign up page. So if anyone has any questions, I mean, there's a lot I can go on about social media, but I don't want to take up too much time here. So if anyone has any questions, I can answer that as well.
What site is that?
I'm sorry?
Rob S2 site.
What site is that? Is that Facebook? Is that Twitter?
This is Facebook.
Okay.
This was
I don't
Facebook.
have Facebook, so that didn't look familiar to me.
Okay. Yeah, our council has the council page on Facebook. We have an Instagram page for the council as well as a YouTube page. And all of them, I can put links to them if anybody's interested that didn't know we have it. We also have district pages as well.
So I'll add a little bit, Michael, and thank you for what you showed us there with Facebook. We do have national data from the Boy Scouts of America indicating the effectiveness of communicating special events, communicating sign-up nights, different activities that a pack, troop, or crew would be participating in. And Michael touched on this briefly, but our sweet spot is to advertise for 7 to 10 days and to create those ads and spend between $1 and $2 at the most per day with that. And those ads allow you to target specific demographics in your community, specifically by distance, by gender, by age, by interests, by location, and things. So if there's anyone at your unit that would like some more information about this, Michael, we can make sure that you spend a couple of minutes with Michael, and he'll be more than happy to share his expertise.
And like I said, there's a lot more that can go into creating the best look for your unit's social media outputs, whether it be on Facebook, Instagram, or even Twitter, if that's what your unit uses. But there's a lot of different things. And the whole point is to catch somebody's attention within 5 seconds, because if not, they're going to keep on going. So the quicker we can grab their attention with short, sweet descriptions, some type of media will more than likely grab their attention. Okay, that's all I have, unless anyone has any other questions.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Michelle, not to put you on the spot, but are you good if we switch back to you?
I am.
All righty, good deal. Thank you much. Oh, she is in the camp office too. That's such a cool place up there.
Yes,
so.
I'm still working.
Uh-oh. Well, there you go. All right, the floor is yours.
Okay, so we're getting geared up and ready for summer camp 2022. This Sunday from 3 to 5 is our summer camp leader kickoff. You can come and join us at Hawk Mountain from 3 to 5, or you can join us by Zoom link. An email was sent out just last week, and another one out today that has a Zoom link if that's how you'd like to come to the meeting. If you if you didn't get it and you want to be on the meeting, just email me and I'll send you the link. Tomorrow I'll be not in the office, but I will be in the office on Saturday and Sunday. So dining services for this summer, we're still in flux with our dining services, and we've not made final decisions other than weeks 4 and 5. We will be doing meals like last year. We'll be doing heater stack out to all the sites because there's too many people to fit in the dining hall. Not a bad thing to happen, but we're going to go back to last year because everybody seemed to like it. Our shooting sports committee is busy putting a cowboy action shooting range in starting this summer. So please come down and see it when you're at camp. You'll be able to, well, as soon as we get pictures up, we'll get them on. We'll have Michael post them and they'll be online so you can see. In case you weren't aware, we are on a 3-year merit badge rotation. So we're on year 2 of the merit badge rotation. So when you look at the merit badges, you'll see that there were some merit badges that were offered last year that are not offered this year, like pottery. Those are on a rotation, and so those will show up every 3 years. Our Cub Scout camp is online for registration. The leader's guide is online on our website. We will be having next week, it'll be coming out in Scoutwire this week. We'll have a Zoom meeting. We'll have a Zoom meeting every week for the next 3 weeks on Cub Scouts. So people can call into the Zoom meeting. They can ask questions about the Cub Scout program, What is it? What does it entail? You know, can a lion come? Does a parent have to accompany their resident Cub Scout for the Cub resident weekend? Those kinds of questions, but we'll be there to answer all of those questions. So keep an eye on Scoutwire for that to come out. Southern Berks is also going to be offering a day camp. It is in the Black Pug system so that you can go in and check it out. It is also online. When you click on outdoor programs and you go to day camps, Camp du Portail's program is there, as well as Southern Berks Day Camp program is there. And just in case you didn't see it, we will be having next Saturday is our Cowboy Carnival, and it is a day event. It's for Cub Scouts, but you can certainly bring a friend. If you want to bring a friend who's not been in Cub Scouts before, I've already had a couple leaders call me, hey, my son's friend thinks this will be fun. Please, the more the merrier. Come on out and you'll get a little taste of what camp is like, what day camp will be like. We'll be roasting hot dogs over a fire. There'll be all kinds of snacks, and you can go through activities at your own pace.
Michelle,
yes,
I'm gonna jump in for the membership committee. We would love to have current scouts bring a friend, wouldn't we, Jerry Beaver? Give me a thumbs up, Jerry.
Thumbs up.
Yes, please.
Thumbs up.
The more the merrier. Absolutely.
According to the weather, if you can believe the weather, 2 weeks in advance, we're going to have a lovely day on the 30th. Does anybody have any questions? I know I kind of talk fast. Okie dokie. Did I forget anything, Cole?
No, ma'am. All good. Thank you, Miss Michelle. So, all right. We will jump through. Oh, yeah. Just the return of the Fall Cub next year. We talked about that already, though. So more details to be shared soon. So
October 15th, I think is the date.
there you go. Mark your calendars. Okay. Jumping on. So membership and recruiting. So Brian, Jerry, and I will talk about this. So the theme for this year is Adventure On. So some of the current challenges and how you can help us overcome them. School access post-COVID is still posing a challenge. So those that have been around from before COVID was an issue. We pretty much had not unlimited access to schools, but majority of schools will let us send flyers. Now it's a lot of, you can maybe send a flyer, but you can't come in and talk to the kids. So if any of you have, channels into schools, that would certainly be helpful. Couple of resources we want to talk about. National Brand Center, how to access and how to use, show a couple key things. So on this link here, and if you Google search B.S.A. Brand Center, the first link that pops up, it'll say scouting at the web DAM DB. That is a ton of resources that you can use. Pictures, videos, templates for PowerPoints. In fact, this one right here. So all sorts of stuff. As far as what the council can offer, we can offer a lot of things for you. Yard signs. So there's those poly bag yard signs that you would stick. If you ever visit our council office, we have a bunch lined up as you would pull in. So you can put your pack name on there, pack phone number. We can print you a big QR code to put on there. So all sorts of stuff. For the schools that don't let us do flyers, we do bookmarks. So we print them 5 or 6 to a page, depending on sizing, on cardstock and cut them out. And just the other week, I gave 400 to one pack because they had access to a school. So they're like, yep, we'll get them in and get them out. And I said, cool, thank you. Peer cards are another big thing. So just like business cards, they look like this. We have a ton of different varieties. So on the front, it's just, escape the indoors or adventure on, whatever the theme might be. And on the back, it's actually a fillable PDF where you can put a bunch of information about where to meet, how to sign up, and things like that. And, give a stack to each of your scouts and have them give them away to their friends. We also encourage social media ads. $1 a day for 10 days is a good metric. So work it out with your pack or troop budgets to do that. Any of our recruiting events that we do for units, in the schools where we send flyers for, we will run some ads on our end. But for those that have pack events and troop events, we encourage you to run your own ads as well. And like Michael showed you with the metrics there, just $1 a day, you can reach a lot of people. So was there any questions on that? I know I went very fast, but we talk about this pretty frequently. So just give you the resources and let you have at it.
Hey, Cole, if I could just jump in real quick.
Yes, please, Jerry.
Traditionally, everybody's always thought of fall as our recruiting time of the year. But honestly, right now, I believe is a very great time to be thinking about recruiting, and not in the traditional forms, but in thinking outside the box a little bit and maybe looking at ways that we haven't recruited before. As we're coming off more and more restrictions being lifted and people are getting together more and more, this is a great time to talk about what your son or daughter does in scouting to parents that are not involved in the program. We have Little League games going on. You have spring soccer going on. You have carnivals coming up that haven't happened in the last few years, and block parties, things like that. Look for ways for your unit to get a table set up somewhere and hand out some flyers, or hand out some bookmarks or peer-to-peer cards, all that stuff that we have available. But, look at other ways. There's community days coming up all over the area, things like that, where maybe traditionally you haven't set up a table or a small booth or what have you, but get some young men, young girls out there in uniform and spread the word.
Thanks, Jerry. I would encourage your PAC to also talk to your partner troop, if you have one, and hopefully most PACs do. I hope and I believe that a troop has a vested interest in how the PAC does, because we have those Weeblos crossing over to be able to do that, and see if you can't partner, to illustrate to the community what a 5 or 6 year old Cub Scout looks like, and what a mature Scouts B.S.A member, male or female, does at 15, 16, or 17. That can be a very powerful message to a young parent to say, I'd like my young child to grow up and look like this, well-spoken young lady or young man.
Okay. Thank you, Brian and Jerry. Up next, we have Journey to Excellence. Brian, did you want to talk about that?
Cole, yes, I can. So he's got the slide up. I appreciate that very much. JTE, as it's referred to, is really a set of measures that units can participate in. It is a voluntary activity for a unit to participate in. But what we would like the leadership at each unit to do is take a look at the metrics or the measures that are on these JTE sheets, and strive to achieve a gold level, a very high standard of doing that. We know that units that plan a budget, that plan their activities, who have volunteers in key recruitment places, who go camping, have kids that earn advancements, we know they're a high functioning unit, generally with a good number of kids that are in the program, a good number of volunteers that are leading and running that program, and they're just strong to be able to do that. So it's a great way to measure what you're doing. It's also a great way to set some goals for your unit at the end of the year, that you strive to obtain. These are downloadable right now and available. You can talk to your district executive, and we certainly can get them for you. Google is one of my best friends. And if you simply go to Google and do Boy Scouts Journey to Excellence 2022, it'll take you exactly where you need to go inside of scouting.org to find those documents. Those documents are to be completed at the end of the year, meaning in December, prior to when you start to renew your charter in January, February, and March. But actually to turn them in at the district and or your district executive in December. So again, if you have any questions about that, these are applicable to PACs, PACs, troops, or crews. So they're color coded accordingly when you take a look at those. Any questions?
Brian, hi, it's Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
I had one question when I was doing it the last set with the reporting of service projects. They changed it from the old service reporting site to using Scoutbook. We don't use Scoutbook aside from advancement. So it requires, as far as tracking the scouts and members there, they have to be listed and select the actual people there. So I ended up putting them all in as non-registered people, just to put the total in, just so that they're in there. Is that how it's going to be going forward? It just seems that I know everything is Scoutbook, but it just seems like that's not a very friendly thing to do.
Right.
So is that, for me doing that, is that okay for you guys? I mean, the people are still there and the numbers are still correct for the reporting. I just was curious.
Right. Mark, I would say continue to do what you're doing in a bankruptcy, or hopefully very, very soon, a post-bankruptcy, Boy Scouts of America moving forward. I hope that changes to be able to do that. I can tell you the national office is being asked to do more with much, much less people. And when I say that, a workforce that's been cut in more than half with that. And Mark, I can also say that the national office looks at on a weekly basis what their upcoming priorities are to basically bring the organization out of bankruptcy. I can't tell you honestly where this improvement, where this adjustment falls in those rankings with that. So Mark, what I will do, I will research that a little bit, continue to do what you're doing. Number one, we appreciate the community service that all of our units are doing and giving back to the community. Yes, we'd like for you to record that. At the local level, it's incredibly important because we share that data with the United Way of Schuylkill County and also with Berks County. Frequently, we quote those numbers in our annual report. So again, that's one of our measures also as a council, and obviously we'd like to see those numbers go up. So keep doing what you're doing, Mark. If there's another easier way to record that, we'll be back in communication with you and let you know as soon as possible.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thank you, Brian, and thank you, Mark, for that question. You always have good ones, so we certainly appreciate that. Okay, were there any other questions about this topic or anything to add? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on. We're almost to the end, so we're keeping good time. So up next, real quick, talk about the Cub Scout Summer Passport. So this was an initiative started a few years ago. So the Cub Scout Summer Passport, great way to keep Cub Scouts and their families engaged throughout the summer. Starting June 1st, physical and digital copies will be available. So do your best, as the Cub Scout motto says, to complete as many as you can to receive a free patch. So there is no cost to the unit for participation. Just do your best. And we just want you to have fun. So as noted there, starting June 1st, they will be available and it runs to August 31st. We won't release it prior to then because we want it to be a summer passport. So there you go. It is ready to go though, if anyone is desperate for a sneak peek. So
to do that, Cole mentioned the patches are free to a Cub Scout that participates in the program. At the end of the summer, we will ask either that family to contact their district executive or Cole to say, my son and daughter did this, I need 2 patches. Or my pack had 10 kids that did it, we need 10 patches. And then we're going to actually place an order for those patches. So we want to be conservative with our money and our funds. We want to make sure that we have the appropriate number of patches at the end of the summer. and not be wasteful with our financial resources.
Yep, very good point there. Thank you, Brian. So yeah, we'll place the order and they'll be available mid-September to late September if everything goes well with that. So that said, any patch gurus out there, if you want to throw us a design, you're welcome to do that. So so there you go. Everybody loves patches. So finishing up here, a couple of helpful tips. One of the big things people ask is, how do I look up my registration in Blackpug? Like, I know I did it, but I can't find it. So you can do it really, this is the only way to do it. So when you get on the council, the page here, event registration system, in the upper right-hand corner, it says look up registration. So if you click that, there's a couple options on how to do it. If you did it as a guest, you'll be asked to put in the email address that you used. If you did it on your account and you just don't remember your account info or you just can't find it, you can put in any information you use there. When you do register for an event, it does send you a registration number. So if you can find that in an email and then plug that in here, that'll pull that up as well. It's especially helpful when you're signing up for like summer camp or any event that needs you to go in and update, say, food allergies or a number of scouts or a name or contact info. So there is that one. Couple things, Be a Scout pin updates. So by now, most of you, I'm sure, have heard that you have a beascout.org pin. So when a family is looking to join scouting, they will go to beascout.org, type in their zip code, select what program they're looking for. Most of the time, it's Cub Scouts. That's just the nature of the program. And they'll click, I want to join Pack 123 in any town, USA. And they'll click on that and request more information or apply. It's very important that your pin is updated and up to date. So on that link there, if you would click that, it tells you how to do that. If anybody wants to stay on after, we can show how to do that in real time. Other thing we want to touch on is My.Scouting accessibility. So as My.Scouting is built in, becoming more feature rich, the key 3 has all access to the unit, and that would be Cubmaster, Scoutmaster, committee chair, or charter representative. Has all the access to edit the pins, look at registrations, look up members. You can set what's called a key 3 delegate, and that would give someone else that's registered in the unit, say as a committee member, an assistant scoutmaster, the access to do what a key 3 does if needed. So we can touch on that if anybody has any questions. Merit Badge Counselor lookup. So this goes back to the My.Scouting accessibility, because those systems are starting to tie together, My.Scouting and Scoutbook. So currently there is no shareable list for Merit Badge Counselors. You find all that information within Scoutbook. So when you go in, click on your troop, one of the options in the dropdown should be, it says MBC list. You would click that, and then it's pretty self-explanatory once you're in there. And again, if anybody has any questions on how to look at that, we can certainly show that. And the final tip on this page, more of just a request, is those that have completed charter renewals. So everything's been in, everything's been posted. We have a few that we're following up on. But if you have yours completed, check to make sure that it includes your active scouts and leaders to make sure that nobody was missed. Look at it and say, hey, I thought Johnny Scout was on here, because we want to get, everybody on that should be. So a couple upcoming events we have. Saturday, April 30th, as we mentioned, is the Cub Scout Roundup Carnival. So come out, have a fun day. Friday, June 10th, right around the corner, is the Reading Fightins pool party. So good time to come out, eat some good food, swim in the pool, maybe catch a baseball or two. And that's on the 10th. So ticket sales are open on Blackpug. So you would sign up, pay through that. And then our office will have the the tickets available for pickup. And then not open for registration just yet, but Friday, August 5th is the Reading Fightins sleepover. So you get to sleep on the field, watch a movie, have a hot dog, good stuff. So I know it was a pretty quick meeting. We're committed to keeping you to that 1 hour time that we talked about. So does anybody have any questions or anything to add? Yep, that was the last slide as a template slide. So.
Cole, I have one question regarding a membership, if you don't mind.
Sure.
We had a scout decide not to recharter, and now they're possibly going to come back.
Mhm.
Our charter has been finalized. Do we have to have them fill out a whole new application, or can you just add them on? And if so, how much time do we have to do that?
So since everything's been finalized and posted, we are after April 1st. we do need a paper trail, so it would be another application.
Okay.
The good part about a youth, though, is that they can actually do it online. So they would basically just, treat themselves as a new Cub Scout and go in. During the process, it'll either ask them for a number, or it will say, hey, we found somebody that matches your date of birth and name. Is this you? They would click yes, and then they can just pay that way. And get registered that way. And then they would just show up in your online portal on the My.Scouting. You just click accept.
Right. Okay. Great.
So,
Thanks.
Yep. And they can do it from a phone. In fact, we've had parents at sign up nights do that. It's just like boop, 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 done. So so there you go. Thanks, Mark. That was a good question. So
Cole, I would like to ask anyone that's with us this evening, if you've not completed your charter, would ask that you please do that as soon as possible. Remember that when April 1st, your charter expired, and that can open up some legalities if the unit is still meeting. It also is going to disable some functionalities inside of my.scouting.org. So for everyone's sake, for everyone's safety, we want to make sure that we get units registered and completed. Heather Rothermill is our registrar. Kelly Dolnack's in the office. Any one of the district executives or myself are more than happy to help you to complete them and round up any of the trainings and such that folks need to complete them. We've got, as a council, we've got about 65% of our units that are finished. That means we've got about 35% that are not. And again, we're really striving to get that done as quickly as possible. Thank you.
okay. Thank you, Brian. So yep, if you anybody needs help finishing those up, certainly please let us know. We understand that the clearance system can be, getting those back can be a challenge. But just, encourage your members if anyone is holding up those to get those in. So are there any other questions? Anybody have anything to add? Any burning, questions or things to say?
Cole, if you don't mind my adding on to Mark's question and
Yeah,
your
please.
comment, actually, the membership ID number, when they, it would be definitely the easiest way to get the kid back onto the roster when you're doing the online version. It asks for it. One of the first questions after it says, are you a youth? Are you male, female? Is, are you a current scout or you been a scout? So that's where that is going to be coming into play, and it can make the process a whole lot simpler and easier when you have that member ID number. So I would encourage looking that up and having that on hand.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chaz. Thanks for that insight. I wasn't sure quite where in the process it shows up. So that member ID number that we're referencing, anybody in the office, we are able to look that up. So if you have, Johnny Scout says, hey, I want to get back in, but he doesn't remember his member ID, we can actually look that up and provide that to you to make that process that much easier. So you just got to let us know.
It should also be on their roster, on their charter form, either in the drop list or the other one. So
correct. Yep. You got it. Okay. Is there anything else? Sounds good. So on behalf of the Hawk Mountain Council, I would like to thank each and every one of you for what you do for the Scouts of Hawk Mountain. I know scouting has been challenging the last couple of years with everything going on. And we truly do appreciate all that you all do to continue the movement and make scouting a great thing to do. So I don't have anything else to add. Brian, Chaz, any of the other staff, anything to add?
No, Cole, if you and I can stay on for a moment, I'd appreciate it.
Okay. Well, that said, I will stop the recording again. Thanks for all you all do. And we'll see you guys later.